doing okay. I don't know. I can definitely make it as tight as we need. Looks about as tight as that shit needs to be. It's like they intentionally, you know, put a fucking, turn this shit into a fucking hurdle race.
The barrier to high performance entry is rather high on the Renaissance.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
We're getting it though.
Once
we tackle this
once
bitch.
Once we dissolve all the little hurdles, the problems, that's when it's gonna be game on. Because right now we're just so busy, you know, trying to find a real solution,
Right.
a final solution
Right.
to every problem.
Yeah.
And that takes time like fuck. Especially because how do you know that your one-time thought of solution is good? You bet you have to try it.
Yeah.
And that took time. It took time to think of it. It took time to rig it together. And then once it actually worked, well, guess what? All of that fucking time had to go by before you could say, this is the best piece. So, I don't really give a fuck sometimes how long it takes, because once you get in the driver's seat, then that's when you need to make sure that you spent all the time already.
That's when it becomes all worth it, yeah.
Yeah, I want to sit there forever and just do all my work from there. I don't want to be up here fumbling with shit like I should have been. No, this fucking thing is done, and close that fucking hood, and it's time to add tires and add fuel, you know? We're just getting all the bases covered right now. Once this shit is done, I'm never looking in there for shit unless I'm checking my levels, and that's it. There's nothing to see. Do the electrical, fasten everything down, slow everything the fuck on there, make sure we have doubles of everything, and then we're ready to just play with this shit a little bit. I mean, what's it, a Tuesday? I'm seeing why we can't start this bitch on Friday, man. We put fucking fuel in this shit either Wednesday, well, tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday, we gotta put fuel in this fucking thing. Have the electrical at least turning the motor over through the key, you know, and the motor already lubed up with oil, so I gotta get those lines done. Get that fitting, or get 2 of those fittings just in case.
You need 90 degrees too?
Not really, no. I have fittings to make the lines. I have, the boxes are there. -10, -8, and whatever you bought that hasn't been used is still there. Damn, yeah, you might be right with the fucking 90. I might as well just make a list tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't get shit. Don't get shit, yeah. Don't get shit. Unheard of as far as Mazdas. We'll see how she behaves, I promise you. It's gonna be fun as fuck to drive.
Yeah.
I don't think the transmission is gonna be the fucking limiting factor. You know, I think the biggest piece of shit transmission in here is gonna melt the fuck out of second gear, and it's gonna get real saucy in third. So unless you're like into power shifting these things until they break, I mean, that's pretty much the only way you would break it.
Mm-hmm.
If you apply the throttle in all the gears, except for like fifth, I think you might snap the shafts in fifth if you have like 500 or 600.
Yeah.
If you just roll into it, if you're not going in from being wide open in third, wide open in fourth, and putting it in fifth, if you just went from like wide open in third and put it in fifth and stepping on it, I think you might break something in there. Don't quote me. I'll let you know. When you're using an internal map sensor, turn on this, you're gonna get there soon. I'm not ready to turn the fucking key on yet. Figure injector current, negative. Optional control boost solenoid. That's nice, I have that at my shop.
What's that? Boost control solenoid?
This $100 solenoid, yeah. I was gonna use it to make the diesel blow-off valve work.
Uh-huh.
Diesels don't have vacuum, so that's a small problem when you're working a blow-off valve.
Uh-huh.
Single port actuator, single port. Because you have a boost controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a wastegate control. So that controls the exhaust to control the boost pressure of the turbo. But what you're not controlling is the back pressure between the turbo and the engine.
Right.
Ideal should be 1-to-1. That's a fucking dream. That's a fucking dream, you know. Unless you're a Formula One, anything, you don't have fucking 1-to-1 anywhere near. So what I'm saying is the manifold we made, all we gotta do is blow a hole in it somewhere and add a gate and plumb that in.
Into
And
what?
into the exhaust or the atmosphere, depending on your philosophical background, driving around other people.
Makes
Yeah.
a lot of noise.
Yeah, because like, look, if this thing has what I'm saying is, look, it has a pulse width modulated thing here, right? This is why I'm going at this. Look, we have a pulse width modulated channel. It says optional. Connect a boost control solenoid, right? But it doesn't know what the boost control solenoid is. You could use this pulse width modulated channel to control another pulse width modulated control, like a solenoid here. This is on a wastegate for the boost. You put it on a wastegate for the back pressure.
Oh,
See? It doesn't know what it's doing, but it's the way it's doing it that we don't care if it knows.
right.
I don't know if I lost you, but it's a little weird, but you know what I'm saying? Like
What does the blow-off valve do then?
the blow-off valve just relieves excess pressure and allows the engine to not back up with turbulence on the next throttle demand.
Okay.
So if
Well,
on the
how
left,
how does this compare to that?
it's a similar, it's just a similar mechanism on the opposite system. Like you got your intake system, and you got your
Right.
exhaust system.
Right.
This is the comparable to a blow-off valve. When I say the blow-off, it doesn't do the same thing, but it's the same mechanism. They're two diaphragmed valves opening and closing on controlled conditional demands.
Okay.
So,
One's on the intake and the other on the exhaust then, you're saying?
like, think of an orchestra. If you don't have the director, everything's just a bunch of fucking noise.
Yeah.
This shit has to be sequenced just fucking right. At all different times, at all different power demands, in order for it to be seamless and like power on tap. That's where, like, if you don't have a blow-off valve, then the compressor surges. When you let off, the air travels backwards into the compressor wheel, and it damages the turbo. Anything after, like, 7 pounds. Someone running 30 pounds of boost without a blow-off valve can destroy the turbo like prematurely.
Gotcha.
So, but that's just a destruction aspect. On the performance end, it's very lazy, it's very hesitant, it's very abrupt. When you put the blow-off valve anywhere, it improves drastically. When you put it in its prime key, most desirable location, function-wise, that's when it becomes like a dream to drive, because the transition is invisible. It's always just waiting to just get sucked into power cleanly, like just waiting for you, not you forcing it on and asking for
right.
more and asking for more and looking for more. Yeah, that makes that different. All of this stuff, like I said, it has to be synchronized. That's why just throwing all this shit in here together is gonna look really cool, but it's not guaranteed to all work together off rip. So I'm trying to see where we could use things that we're not using for something else. Take our waste technology here. That's one way to do it. I mean, obviously we have to have all the pieces in there to see if there's even room for that, but mechanically it's very easy. See, look here, connecting a flex fuel sensor. It looks like we're gonna have to connect inside the enclosure of the board and go into a plug. Mac ECU software VFN variable fresh air duct. Two other wires go to a variable air duct solenoid. Cut those out. Yeah, see those? See, with a dual port actuator. Wari software. On Wari software. Where the fuck is that? Is that in the... We also need a dedicated laptop. Like, which laptop are we going to use on this car to tune this? Hopefully nothing you have.
My possessed one.
Oh, no.
It destroys
See,
any
you need
wireless
to-
network
yeah,
you connect to it.
You need to fucking, if not, I'll just dedicate one of my computers to this car, and we'll load whatever the fuck we need on that, because it needs some ancient shit to connect
Right.
to this, right? It's not a USB, it's a RS32, like tradition. No, wait, Carl's is a Microtech. This Adaptronic has a USB port, right? Oh, no, wait, it's that fucking cable that you have somewhere on your car. How does that connect to the computer? USB?
I don't remember.
Eventually?
We gotta go grab it
Oh
from.
my god. I'll make sure that there's no electrical issues here. And I also want to figure out, that might take too much time to figure out that shit. I put the plate on. I mounted the plate.
Yeah.
I wanted to just make it a little bit differently.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think we might go with round tanks, you know, just to make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Could be made any which way. I just think that the tanks might be easier. I don't know. I could be wrong. Depends. I gotta measure what volume I could get here. Because if I go with tanks, I could go. If you go with tanks, they gotta be. I mean, if I go with tanks, we could oblong them.
Mm-hmm.
Crystalline helical insert precision. Be nice to just buy that from them. Straight. Put it in a hole like so. Just spin it around. Damn, that shit is shallow as fuck. Shallow bridge.
So the inner size of those should match the
That's a good question.
screws for the knock sensor. Because the problem on this block was the holes were too big, right?
Yes. Fuck on, dude. So, let's get magical. Now, see, this is what's supposed to go up there. Like shell. Now we've got us a gwinner. Now, the problem I hope we don't have is that this fucking thing sticks out and it's gotta be made shorter. That's why I get the big bucks. See here, measure my bitch. See how far her fucking hole goes. I need to make sure this will go all the way in her. As deep as I can. It must go all the way in her. Guaranteedly. Or this is just no good. Uh-huh. Thank you, China. Thank you, fucking China. Uh-huh. All I need is a fucking Allen that big. It's just not like doing something right. It's 5 times as long. Doing something right takes 2 seconds if you have the right tools. Most of the time we're punished here. We're punished. Go to your corner. Oh. Easy. She's ready for the other half. I don't want to scare her. I don't want her to run away too soon. Yeah, get it, girl. Get it. Oh yeah, feel that shank.
When you put those in for the final assembly, you have to use the thread locker or something?
Maybe. I mean, it depends what you want to do. I want to be able to take the shit off.
Right.
I don't want to fucking permanente nothing just yet. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to make this shit flush. Because if that little whore doesn't fucking bottom out there, it's not going to sense shit.
Mm.
And that's her whole purpose of her little fucking worthless life, is to sense fucking noise, knocks, and important shit like that. Just trying to make sure her hole does not protrude. She's got a nice beveled hole. I'll put the heli coil in the middle of the thread and not bottom it out because it'll start to fuck up the thread's pitch inside. So we're good there. I think we're good. Let me see. The lesser crusty one. Now, all we do is go with my bitch. I'll tell my bitch, shut the fuck up. See that with the Allen? Oh, that's so, ooh, so racy. That's too short. We gotta find us a longer bitch. Where is the shit? This might be a little too much, but that's how I like to do sometimes. How much room do we got there? Pretty decent, and it's not doing nothing crazy. I don't know. He might not like it. He might love it. He might want to like argue about it. But you do see the point, like it points to here, with maybe the connector not even going on, like meaning you'd have to like tighten it on with the thing already plugged in, which obviously means you can't unplug it without that doesn't make sense. With too little, maybe a little thinner than that, but what I was looking at is that, so here is, where are you? Here's, where, hold on. Come to us, girl. Here's one. That's one. That's the back one. The front one is hiding somewhere. Right around here. Where are you, girl? Is it you? Yes, it is you. Oh, bitch. So, we got this girl right here. She's got the plug on this side. See? How you kind of need all that space just for the freaking connector. Now just think of just pointing that into the wall, like it's trying to tighten that way. Hang on. Like look, that's just not gonna happen without a bushing. You're definitely not taking it apart even if you get it on there. So I think this problem's fixed with that little scenario right there. Who did we drop in here?
Screw right there.
Some bullshit. Okay. Call the fucking golden shotgunneer out here. You need to be like all fucked up. First, step one. Okay, so remember that idea you had with the heli coil? It worked out beautifully. So I've got the heli coil in there, like right in the middle of the passage, not bottomed out, not towards the outside. However, when you fucking put that shit flat on this rotor, the fucking head of that thing hits the edge of the rotor housing. So I rigged it, yeah, and it's clocked to corners which are useless. I put a little a nut, the thickness of the spacer that I want to use, and then can we do that?
Yeah,
that's done, right? And then Loctite it down and done deal. All right, perfect.
You can put the little washer either behind the stud or in front of the sensor.
What washer? No, I have to. No,
Put a little washer in here, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do you see where the nut is? There's a nut in between
Right.
the sensor and the block.
Right.
So I'm gonna put a bushing, not a nut.
No, I'm sorry. A
Something.
washer,
A spacer, some type of spacer.
You
Yeah.
use a little spacer either before on the stud or in front of the sensor. Makes no difference.
Right. That's what I mean.
It'll transfer the knot regardless.
Right. So that's it. I'm gonna do that one on both. I'm gonna put helical on the rear. Just cut up here all the way through. Make sure no wires are touching anything, and just chop them at the base. To not have long dongles like this. Did you have anything? Just leave them and tuck them and tighten them.
Yeah, what I normally have done is just leave them and tuck them, because to do it right, what you really need to do is, Cameron used to do this a lot.
What?
He had a board where he had the harness like traced and where they put it on there.
He saw which ones you could strip out and not.
Yeah, he
Right, but
would,
that's
he
what I'm
would
saying. Look,
dissect,
like from here,
take all the wrapping off,
That's what I'm saying.
and
From here to
dissect the
here,
wires.
there's like 4 wires.
Right.
So if they're not touching from there to there, I could just chop them off right here and plug them right there. You know what I mean? Because nothing's touching. I'm not saying from there to over here. I'm just saying some of the ends that are just not gonna be used.
Some of those things also run into a common Even though they're on
They're not,
terminated.
yeah, they're not.
They
That's
call-
the same thing. Either you plug something into here. If we have nothing plugged in, it makes no difference unless they're grounded.
You know,
There's only a couple anyway. It's
Yeah.
that one, the one that used to run the outside motor, and because we could also use it for something else.
yeah, you know, maybe the computer might pick up on something. Who the fuck knows?
Too late. Too late. You're gonna see what the computer's gonna pick up right now before we even put this shit all back together.
One thing that I thought of this morning while I was in the shower is, so that we'll test the fuel system, make sure that we have gasoline up to the injectors. We can simply crack one of the.
No, we need to do that anyway to just flush the lines before I already blew them out and I already
Okay.
fucking did that. But to
And
make
the
sure
other
that-
thing is just spray a little bit of WD-40 down the intake, spin it by hand first, and then hit it with the starter. Make sure that we got spark plug firing. Let's do all the Mickey Mouse little test.
Well, I'm not doing any of that
Before.
shit until we test the wiring. Like, we put a battery in and take all the fucking
Okay.
shit, because to assemble this engine and have anything electrical to do just means you gotta take the whole engine apart again.
Exactly.
So I want to make sure that everything that's still turning on is expected to turn on, but that can't even happen because we need to cancel the oil level sending unit, cancel the water coolant thing, at least know where it's at, and
Have you checked to see if you got a clutch?
yeah, it's there. It's just been sitting for a while, so it was down, but it's held pressure so far. Who knows? It could blow out on us the first week. What I'm saying, like so far, it's holding pressure. Pretty good. It hasn't gone down yet. But yeah, I wanna connect that. And the only thing that's up in the air with the wiring harness still is the wideband connection. I know which cables come out of the O2 sensor, but I need to know which cable to plug it into. And also, like, are we gonna plug that feed wire into the first O2 or into both O2 signal wires? Because this one had a sensor before and a sensor. All that shit, I don't know what parameters, until we could open up a laptop, connect it to this computer, and look at the actual parameters that we have inside, that could change a lot of things out here.
Where did you have that Eugene software? On your personal laptop, or did you put it on mine?
I don't remember actually.
But you know, we had it because when we had it in your car, we were playing with it. I think it was your personal laptop.
Yeah, which one though?
Yeah,
It's
it
a
was
long
because
time
I was
ago.
having problems with one of your keys.
Oh, that was my daughter's laptop I was
Okay.
using. That's right. Yeah.
Another thing is, you were talking about that wastegate control thing. You can do this computer does a boost control. Not that you care for that, but
How'd you know?
yeah, I took a stab at it. But I'm pretty sure the same solenoid I have to make the diesel blow off without vacuum with a box, but this solenoid, instead of controlling boost control, it just controls a lambda signal, just like a clamp. So if you target a number, it'll target that number. You could do the same thing with this on the back pressure control. Instead of trying to control the boost pressure, you could control the back pressure. Mechanically, you just add a wastegate and then just control it through here. And then instead of like trying to control fucking boost, it doesn't know that it's not boost, it'll control the pressure.
Yeah, but when you're controlling back pressure, you gotta control boost first. You gotta
Well,
have
that's
a-
already controlled. You already have an integral wastegate, right? That's mechanical. So whether you like it or not, that's working already. You already got boost control. You add this to another gate
That's what
controlling the back pressure. That's what I'm saying. You already got one controlled. And even if you didn't, you take that off or you put a little electronic box to work with the integral wastegate. But this one will work another gate. It doesn't have to be integral. It could be external. I mean, that would be pretty cool if we could rig an integral gate. That would be so cheap too. If we could use another gate just like that and figure out a way to make, but that's kind of more, it'd be more complicated to make that door work inside a pipe. Their shit is nice because it's all cast in a piece and it was already a door there for it to cap, but, and it was already inside an
It's
exhaust.
very aero because you know it comes in at an angle to.
Right, it's perfect. Yeah, but
That's a
whatever.
good fucking turbo, man.
I don't know if there's enough room here either way to add back pressure control.
That could have been always done on the manifold.
But that's what I'm saying. I wanted to do it now. Not like right this second. I'm just saying. I was thinking, is there room for it? Like,
Yeah, there's room for it.
like
Definitely
put
there's
a
room for it.
little
Wherever-
HKS style
where you put that little,
back plate at an angle.
Right.
Right. That's why I thought of getting an elbow from there. But what I'm saying is like to tuck between when the turbo, the downpipe, and all that shit is in there. It's not like there's miles. There may be room in there to, you know, put it in. We even beat the head out of the fucking downpipe one time just to have the knuckle of the, you know, just to get the shit to fit there. That would be pretty cool to test it out, to try it. Or to even read it, to know how much pressure. Because what's ideal? 1 to 1?
that's impossible.
Well, besides, well, yeah.
Theoretically
right,
impossible.
but I'm saying that's the target, 1 to 1. So
If
you would
can
want to.
get on a street car, if you can get just below 2 to 1, you're doing
That's
sweet.
beyond F1, yeah.
Yeah, like
No, but what I'm saying is you would put the target as 1 to 1. Like it would always try to control to 1.
if you did that, you wouldn't have enough back pressure to run the turbocharger. If your boost equal your back pressure, there's nothing to push a turbo.
No, I'm saying if you got, well then how's it going to control the back pressure?
Because what the back pressure does is get the turbo going. That's why ideally on a street engine you want to have a 2 to 1, slightly less with less.
Right,
of the
but
grade
when is happening
to
after?
get it going, and then the turbo will get the boost going.
Right, but
Once
you don't get back pressure first. You get
No.
boost pressure first, then the
Exactly.
back pressure.
Once you've established
how-
boost,
right.
then you begin to bleed off as you choke the motor, as your back pressure.
So
almost-
how would
the
it
back
feel the
pressure will
boost?
go like this?
That's what I'm saying. Once you establish the velocity of the turbo and the RPM,
Once you got that,
you lower the back pressure.
gradually.
So that's the same thing. It targets to 1. Because by targets to 2.
You want to target. If you could get it to about 1.5, you're.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the
golden.
machine is never going to allow you to. Like you're never, like you said, you're never going to get 1 to 1. But you target the machine to.
Then they might just open it up too quickly and drop the boost.
But it can't because one happens before the other.
Yeah, but if you all of a sudden open too much exhaust.
No, but that's you already said it. Why would you open too much? You're gonna find what you need.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why
what I
for
mean.
back pressure, all you really need, you have a wastegate.
Maybe
but
like
all
a
you
half
need
inch or
is
not
a
even.
little tiny hole.
But what I mean is when you have a gate controlling it, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like that some people think that. Well, first of all, no one's done it. No one's done it. So you don't even know what size it's gonna require to do what boost.
Tiny
which
little
turbo.
wastegate, 40 millimeter wastegate.
And that again might be too much.
That's what I've used it for. Actually, the very first one I ever did was with a Turbonetics wastegate. Took the valve off of it and just used the pin, like, you know, I grounded it on a grinding stone, like a needle, and just used that into a hole.
Right.
I did that in my old white body red car.
And how much was the boost pressure?
I was running about 24 pounds.
And what was the back pressure?
Once I got it to work, I never checked it.
Jesus Christ.
But believe me, believe me, it used to hit a wall at 8,000.
This is good reality TV,
And
bro.
no,
Just
it
put a
used,
bunch
to,
of garbage
it used
on
to hit
TV
a
and
wall
it's
at
just so-
8,000, and when I started doing that, it would just pull right to 10 if you kept your foot in it.
I'm gonna
With
make
that
it
long
my
manifold-
lifelong,
with that
like,
long
purpose to take all of your inventions and try to keep like one alive at a time.
That's why we need the
Because
dyno going.
all these stories, I could put my son to sleep.
Hey, you've been a witness to every one of them. Have they worked? You've been there all along.
Yeah, but they're worthless. Because where are they now? Like, they all work, but it's depressing to know that they work and they don't
They're all
exist.
in that book that's about that thick.
Yeah, that book hopefully, doesn't get buried with you because we need to turn some shit to a reality. Like Walt Disney, he took his dream and he made it a 200 fucking acre reality. So everyone could live his dream forever. The only people that are gonna live this dream is whoever fucking gets one of these engines or one of these cars.
You know,
That's what I'd like. And I would like to be on the top of that
I was
list
doing
first.
that.
So,
I was doing that back in, like, before, about 1984, 85. Porsche just took out a patent.
I just
All
told
that stuff
him
is
how
here.
you would just go off and rant and rave about this shit that you got robbed, but you never did it.
I didn't get robbed. I just didn't have any way of marketing it. I just, no money and just great ideas. You try them, they're great. Try them in your car, and that's about it.
That's what we're gonna change, man.
Good.
We can't try it.
I can't come up. I can't be the inventor and the janitor and the marketing guy, and
Good,
the
we're gonna get that
And
in
the
writing.
office management.
I'm glad you got that on video.
Yeah, right.
We got that. We just
We're gonna
got that out of
outsource
your
all
mouth.
that.
Yeah. So when you have an idea, you place your idea down, you write it down, and then whoever's making that idea come to life, you have to like leave them the fuck alone. Like me. Like me, for example. Leave me the fuck alone, and then when I fuck it all up and it doesn't look good, you'll be like, no.
The
You
material.
have it for legacy purposes.
It's aerospace. It's aerospace material.
Okay.
Extremely high conductivity, and
Coating or material? Or
material,
both?
the whole material.
That's fair. If
Material.
someone tries to fuck with your shit and says they reinvented it before you, it's all documented on film when you were working on it.
Yeah, see this poor shit from 1980s, that's not gonna happen while I'm alive ever again, okay? That's not gonna happen, bro.
Ferdinando Porsche is
Nah.
gonna get it up the ass this
Yeah,
time.
oh yeah. We got the grease. We got the duckum.
Yeah, you gotta be dishing
We're
it.
gonna get some molybdenum. Anyway.
All right, let me finish what I'm doing here.
Absorb. Hold on.
The CBD.
Whoa, don't be putting that down. Hold on. We're not done.
You need your.
I told you exactly what he was gonna say. I told you exactly what he was gonna do. I hate to say it, but I told you so. Yeah, dude, that's crazy, bro. I've been hearing these fucking stories for decades now. I have yet to fucking put one of these fucking Mythbusters shit together. Like, the same thing with the blow-off valve. Look, I seen a lot of his shit, and to his defense, his shit is ingenious. But then it does no good to like shelf it.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, and I put it in my car and no, fuck that. I put it in my car, I put it in your fucking car, I put it in every fucking asshole's car that comes to me and gives me money. And that's it. If it really worked, it was worth it. I stand
Well,
behind
he
my
did that
product.
with the old FDs. Remember his little tricks to.
Right, but just as, see, this is exactly my point. Yes, gangster, beautiful, everything worked to the edge of its envelope.
Right.
But then there's better, and better came
Well,
along.
yeah.
And he refuted that again. Just like I had rich people that wanted fucking DFIs, EFIs, Haltex, and this and that. He wanted 2 fucking fuel pumps, 3 fuel pumps, a carburetor, an AIC. That's a gimmick for the time.
Right.
You know, what yesterday was, today will be obsoleted now. And if it's better, absolutely. If it didn't get better, then no, stay archaic by all means. You know, but the times have changed, man. And there's a lot of things here that are already doing the same task that no one's smart enough to know how to reappropriate it. And that's why I'm looking at all this shit like, bro, how stupid are these people? Like, really? Like, why didn't you just do this with this? And why didn't you do that with that? Oh, well, we never really thought of that. Look, I've already gone to too many fucking conventions and asked, oh, that's a very good question. Yeah, shut the fuck up and answer my very good fucking question. How about that? Right. You know, I wouldn't have very good questions if you didn't fucking have really good fucking answers, right? So we're not gonna get on that debacle. I might as well fucking go for a Nobel Prize, not a fucking engine. But yeah, this shit could be so much more, man. And the technology's already there. We're already fucking doing everything. What is this? Add that. So you added a pinhole fucking thing and that shit worked. And now it's gonna be a 40mm thing. But you don't know because you didn't try. But that's gonna be too much. How the fuck do you even say all those things in the same fucking sitting? It's a madman. Already crazy. I'm gonna take crazy advice.
Well, you know, genius is
It's a borderline between
madness,
insanity.
right?
Yes. Yeah, and I believe you have to dabble on both sides to be like even normal. Because if you're just genius, you're stupid, and if you're fucking stupid, then at least you're normal because you could be smart at any moment.
It's like that guy Stephen Hawking that just died.
Hmm?
He was a fucking genius.
See, I don't want to be a genius like him. Nah.
Doesn't mean he's right, you know. A lot of the stuff he wrote about in his history of time and all that about black holes. And
Just because you know a bunch of shit doesn't mean absolutely fucking nothing. In my world, is what the fuck do you do with what you know?
right.
What the fuck do you do with what you know? In this particular world, it's about how much money do you make with what you know. So you knew all this shit and you're making nothing. Something's wrong with that equation. I don't know. Just from all the way over here, I could tell there's something wrong with it. You know, not even a mathematician. Anyways, and we're still looking for the fucking O2 crank trigger, ignition, oxygen, injector test, no battery voltage on live gauges, TPS calibration. This shit pretty much is a whole goddamn manual, like after you have everything connected.
Alright.
This is not exactly what I'm looking for. Vacuum boost, reading, not working, tuning, we're not ready even fucking nothing. Front cover mark. Set base timing. We're not there, guy. We're not there. We need to get here.
Yeah, I gotta get one of those.
And then this is what this one's gonna have to get left fucking highlighted out. We're gonna need to fuck with this. Connect a fuel flex sensor. The RX8 plug-in ECU uses a CAS3 input. I guess is that. This pin is located at the 6-pin header. Oh, so here. At the 6-pin header inside the ECU enclosure. You need to open the ECU enclosure in order to access the pin. Remove the blah 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 blah. Remove the end plates. Remove this. Slide out the circuit board slightly so that the map end plates come away from the body. You can now access the pin. Connect and set up the flex fuel sensor. Connect the sensor into a switch ignition 12 volt. Front O2 signal sensor, but what the fuck is this? What the fuck are these two rows? Still connected to factory ECU. Okay. See, but this doesn't say, see? This doesn't say nothing about replacing no fucking sensor. It says still connected to factory ECU? Yes. Front O2 sensor still connected to factory ECU? Yes. That means it needs to be on there. Okay, so I'm reading here, there's comments. There's no comments yet on the thing, so we've got sensor ground, front O2 heater. That's still connected to the factory ECU, which means that it needs to run, because if it doesn't run, it's going to think that it's not there. And that's a fucking problem. So, rear O2 sensor heater is also connected to the factory ECU. So then the front O2 sensor signal just says yes. It says yes. Yes, it's connected to the factory ECU. So how the fuck do you get a factory sensor signal if it's not connected? So again, like I'm not sure what the fuck that means. I don't know if that means fucking put the O2 hanging somewhere wrapped up and just feed it the signal wire. You know, I don't know what the fuck that means. I know it would have been a lot simpler. Just put the fucking thing in there, whether it's working or not worry about it. They're already gonna have one. You already got an RX8, you got an RX8. You don't, you put a $19 sensor or a plug, and that's it. So anyways, we still gotta figure that out. Oil pressure, sensor, grade, rear, right, primary, engine, coolant, neutral, rear O2 signal. Okay. It is connected to the ECU, and it is shared with both ECUs. That's interesting. Because what's going to happen is it's just going to have a check light. And let's say we do it and it works, it's going to have a check light because it's not going to see what it needs to see. And that's what I don't understand, because I've never worked on a car that's had a fucking working adaptronic. And when you guys had that shit working on there, I didn't see what the fuck you guys are doing. So, I don't know how the adaptronic tells you when it's still piggybacking another computer, whether you're going to have check lights or the adaptronic is going to tell you, because I've had an adaptronic before on my jet ski, and that shit has its own set of DTC codes. So,
yeah, you can have a monitor connected to it. They sell them like aftermarket, whatever.
To what?
To the adaptronic.
To the adaptronic?
Yeah, but
to
I mean,
to
you
see
see
like a live screen?
Right, like if you don't want to use your computer.
Right, you have like a fucking keypad.
Whatever,
like Carlos has that other little tuning thing.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, well, engine coolant temperature, yes, shared with both. See, but see, all of this is plug and play. This means you're not supposed to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's a slight difference between the factory O2 sensor plug and the fucking thing that we want to put on here. Then again, I don't know if we're using I don't know. This is a plug and play unit, so there's no wires for me to plug into. So that means that I have to put whatever fucking rig is in here into the wiring harness. This is not suggesting shit. We need to call Adaptronics Tech whatever and just ask them, look, we're putting a wideband. We want to feed the fucking thing a wideband signal. How the fuck do we do that? That's pretty much what we're missing. So we've got the injectors covered. We've got the ignition system covered. I think we could take off. I mean, I think we could do that right now. We can't turn the engine. We got no oil in there. I mean, for the sake of what we're doing, I think we should do that. I think we should fucking turn the engine over right now as it sits and see if we got sparks, see if we got ignition, see if we got every fucking thing we need before we start to dress up.
Makes sense.
That would be the point of no return. Like we already, let me finish what I was doing with the heli coil on the back side, and we'll figure out a little bushing, and that will be put to sleep. No headache there. We've got to do something about this fucking welding, bro. Like, this guy still wasn't there last night when I went twice. His truck was there, nobody fucking opened. He called his phone, didn't pick up. I mean, we got a fucking AC line sitting there and a fucking compressor sitting in the back of my fucking truck, the turbo. That sucks. Shit, we're waiting for fucking days. Always been the case. Like, we need to figure out a way that this shit does not keep you from running.
Like the OMP limp mode.
Yeah. If that shit goes bad, you're like stuck.
He was just looking at some video online, YouTube.
Yeah, but they're all dielectric lithium grease and this and that. That's
to short it out or something?
It's a snake oil. Yeah, maybe that shit works, but when you here's the problem. When you fix something that you didn't know how the fuck it got fixed, you better hope that shit fixes it forever.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Usually doesn't.
Right,
So what's the prognosis then for the OMP? I mean, it has to see it, it has to interact with it, or you have to, like you were saying.
This car is riddled with a lot of safety checks that if it doesn't receive it, it acts wild. It doesn't allow you to perform. Now, I don't know what the statutes of limitation of this fucking piggyback computer is as far as dominance over what really happens, because that factory computer is there because it still must see certain things. Now, a computer is as stupid as a fucking rock when it really comes down to it. It has to see its fucking program numbers. If it doesn't see what it's supposed to see, it does what it was programmed to fucking do. That's where we all start fucking arms in the air. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Computer is inputs and outputs. It's only IOs. That's it. You're not giving it the right fucking input, how the fuck you think the right output's gonna come out? That's why I'm stressing this shit, because everything that I'm stressing here is what feeds that computer. I know what the fuck to give it once it's connected right. Like, you know, that's gonna be the easy part, sitting there with a fucking laptop giving it all the right numbers. Yeah, but those numbers will not be real world anything if this shit's not connected right.
Yeah.
You know, because the computer takes your installation and it math co-processes everything to each little derivative corner. That's where a lot gets lost in translation. I don't work like that. I need to see the language at the wire level. And then I make sure your computer is going to support those fucking wires. And then obviously the only thing left is how you connect those fucking things. That's going to, you know, be your last stop to fuck you over. Obviously, the less connections, the less wires, the less shit that's in there, the less problems. If I chop all this shit off and leave it one time and it works perfect, then we obviously know we're that far ahead, deep in the game. If we're working fine, we still got 80% of shit we don't need, we're scared to take anything off there. Because you don't know. What are you going to do that at the race? Where you get whacked over here, you want to take this power now for something? This shit's got to be thought of one time, you know, and by somebody that can do the shit right, so that it has room to add something. You can say, oh, I'm gonna take a little power from here. Oh, you just fucked up your whole car. All I just did is just take a little power. Yeah, well, you took power from there, you took ground from here, and you backfed the system, and this wire got hot. There's a lot of shit that's invisible to people that they just like notoriously do, and then they're like, they don't know what happened. They don't know what happened. You could go like a computer. Go back to the last known operating thing. What the fuck was added else since? There's your problem. Right in there somewhere. Doesn't matter who has the time. Who has the time to dive in there. Heli coil. Heli coil, please.
So I guess the guy at the welding shop really either didn't understand what we were doing with this or doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
The welding shop guy?
Yeah.
What did he say?
not to get them, that they wouldn't fix the
Oh
problem.
yeah, yeah, but you know, people.
I mean, who does that? You know, it's like, hey, it might fix your problem. Just buy it from me. They're non-returnable. Have a nice day.
life happens.
And he told me as much. They are non-returnable. I'm like, well, you know what? If I don't use them on this, I'll use them on something else. So I really don't
Yeah,
give
he
a shit.
wasn't very promoting of the business. That's the thing.
He's like, you're trying not to sell me your shit. I
Yeah.
mean, you just want to hold on to your
Yeah,
shit. Is that it?
because of like I guess what he's had to deal with. He's got like probably like guys go in there for the mowers and this and that, and they don't even know what they're doing. So the last thing he wants to do is like be
Have
the
to
guy.
deal with returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't blame me on that, but he said
It's still. I'm not justifying. I'm just saying that's the reason why that ends up happening more times than not. Can anyone else get in my way? Thank you. Very nice.
at least you can see the hole now.
Yeah.
You want me to hold that?
Here, let me see. I'm gonna take this thing out. I see that shit a mile of fucking way. So all these wars, it better be real as fuck. They better be knocking down our door, shooting at us and shit to be enough relevance to like, oh, we couldn't do that. Oh no, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do nothing, motherfucker. We can't even get into that category of don't want to do. We'll be fucking just at home. Okay, so we got this guy. Let's try him on the back, see how nice it fits there. We'll have to touch Krusty the Clown on him. Oh, you whore, don't try to do that. See, we'll just measure the width of this fucking nut and we'll know exactly. Sweet. We lock that down, we plug that down, we're good. The only thing we're missing on this side now is the oil level sending unit to figure out these two wires here, which we could probably do that with the battery. Maybe even right now. Well, I don't know about, well, I gotta connect all this shit back. But we don't need to, we don't need it anymore anyway. We're pretty much done here. We're done with that. Turn that heat shrinker on. I forgot I set the lines here yesterday. There's nothing else to this shit already. We've got, the only thing that I don't know how the fuck that's just gonna work is the fucking wide bag. That's it. And I'm just confused as to how the computer sees it and where it tries to read it. Because then you're gonna always end up with fucking things. So like in my mind, the only way to fully trick the computer is to put a rear O2 sensor that's not gonna kill no one. No one's gonna die because that thing's gotta have one back there, right? Like it did from factory. I like to do everything from factory until I know I could eliminate it, not eliminate 7 things and let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. We take out your spleen, your liver, and a half a lung. Let's see, is the subject still alive? He's having trouble breathing. What do you think this is? I mean, bitch, you took out 5 fucking organs. How about you fucking cut off one at a time and then you see like what that did? I'm just saying. That would have sort of made sense. Let me see that fucking hair dryer. You see the little juice that comes out? That's sealant.
Oh yeah?
is the marine. This is marine heat shrink.
No shit. So it's got some silicone or something in there that melts.
Yeah, some adhesive. It's a heat conducting. I mean, you know, conductive, and a seal at the same time. So you see, it's wet, dry.
Fuck.
That's what I use on all these things.
Marine stuff is much better.
I mean, fuck, if it works on a boat, it
Anticipating
can work on a
problems,
car, right?
you
Like,
know,
yeah.
when you're in that water environment.
But the electronics portion, I don't really give a fuck. It's a nuisance altogether. If I'm wearing one wire 30, why? Because of the process I gotta go through to just do one.
Yeah.
I need a soldering gun, I need a heat shrink, I need this, I need that, I need the crimper, I need the strippers, I need fucking 12 fucking
it's a pain in
tools.
the ass.
Once you got me here, what do you want me to do? Connect one button? Alright. Okay, that's $1,000. You know, like what the fuck do you want?
That's why that guy Lucian gets paid so well.
Big bucks, and everywhere he goes, who else takes after him?
Right.
No one. The junkyard or the fucking graveyard. If he don't build it, everyone else tried.
Right.
And then after he tried, they're like, oh, who did it? Oh no, I'm not working on that car. That's it. I've seen it happen 12 times.
Yep.
I'm not working on that car. You know why? Because he doesn't fucking have to. He doesn't have to do nothing. He just has to sit by the phone until the next headache develops. Oh, here's lunch. That guy's got consistent money. He's not worried about nothing. See if I can fucking route this too and not see it ever again.
I'd like him to take a look at that Hyundai. Figure
Yeah.
out the electrical
Situation.
gremlins with why the doors don't lock, why they open but not lock.
I mean,
Power steering, what is it? Fucking electrical? Or?
oh, it's definitely electrical. And it's definitely going to end up being modules. If it's anything like that fucking Volkswagen that they just fucking try to give us again. I tell you, my chick tried to pick it up
Yeah,
and it fucking overheated like a
Yeah.
block away.
I know, I heard.
I was like, wow, it made it pretty far. A block, a whole block.
They're just trying to get you out of there.
I was like, wow, somebody's gonna have bad reviews over there. That's gonna be good. God, I hate wiring harnesses. They're so messy, bro. All over the goddamn place. I want to just tie strap this shit to one nice, neat ball of shit, and then just tape it up real nice. Everything's done here. We don't need any of this shit. It's just so big. The nonsense here. This has to go to the fucking thing down there, so we can't do shit about that.
Is that far enough away from the turbo that it's not going to be affected by the heat?
What is?
The cable you're holding there.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, the turbo's further back. It's gonna be nothing like it was before.
Remember that turbo we were looking at it, that RX8 we got from Tampa? What do they do, wrap tinfoil around them to try to keep the heat off it?
Yeah. They're touching. Their shit was touching. All types of shit was touching. I was like, oh my god. It's electrical. I don't know. I think I might loom some shit up here. Finish up my bitch. Those are good. I need to loom shit there. This one, that one. I need to leave this one out. I could reach that one out the middle. Maybe this one and this one out the back. Yeah. And then these now. Fucking tidy the fuck out of this shit. Give me fucking nightmares. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go here. What do we want to do here? You're going right. I'm gonna make room just to keep everything separate. I got you. I got my fountain. Fountain of tie straps. Bring in the main path line. I do not want to strap the oil lines down. I want to make sure I do not strap those shits. The cracking of the pores. It ain't easy. Keeping your route these days. This fuel system. These O-rings, I definitely want to put some fucking Loctite on these fittings. But that's another battle. We'll come around, see how they're behind all the fuel lines, if possible. Am I gonna reach? Let's test that injector rail right quick. The one that's on that table somewhere. Oh no. Ooh, damn, I clocked them all out, huh? Fucking genius. Okay. And Carlos is playing games on me. Now let's fuck with him. See if he notices. Fucking bitch. Wait a second. How the fuck am I even gonna put a connector there? That shit's good, but it ain't that good. Alright, so I want to stay on the inside here.
Murphy set those clocks for you.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's like, hey, they talk every day. I know they're fucking pen pals. If you and Carlos don't hear from him by noon, he's calling. Hey, man, you forget to fuck up my shit? You forget to fuck up all my shit? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's why he's on the phone all day. It's Murphy.
Yeah, he's got to
Keeps him tied up.
Keeps him busy.
Look at that snapping sweetness.
They don't do shit going to the side. I might as well just leave them straight. See if I could get around the hoses that way. Cause I got this bitch right here going to this. But that shit does what it does. I'll still be able to clock my bitches straight. I don't know. Yeah, I'd rather that back. I'm not here. Alternator's gonna be here really close. That looks pretty fucking
Tits, man.
cleaner than before. And then this guy, I don't know, I got my cable on. Nope. Nope. There's room there. Nope. Room here. No. That's complicated. Leave it like that. Leave the cable with slack. Not ready to yank out leads. Like Okay. To the other